Hi guys, it's Tim here from cleverbodybuilding.com, and today we've got a special guest. We've got Stuart Hulse. Nice to meet you, Stu.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. Stu has just won the first time as Northwest. Okay. And here's a picture of him for you. Okay. And then, so Stuart, you've come here today, and I appreciate you coming down.
Yeah, anytime.
We want to talk a bit about your story and what's happened to get you to where you are today.
Yep.
A lot of people out there may be thinking about bodybuilding and how they can get into it, and you know what they need to do. And I'm sure there's no one better at the minute to tell them about that than you and your story.
Absolutely, plenty of tale to tell anyway. So definitely, without a doubt.
Cool. So when did you start training?
Well, I started training roughly around about 7-8 years ago at Ironman Gym.
Cool.
I started training there, went in there, obviously, as a young lad, we see all these blokes, I'm like, wow. We're seeing John Bridge and...
A good gym to start at.
Absolutely. When you see like John Bridge, you see Paul Rowe and James Fleming and Ian Gibney, and you're seeing all these guys and you're thinking, I want to look like those guys, So at the time, I mean, it was a funny one with the gym, because when I first started, as strange as it sounds, I didn't particularly enjoy it, but I kind of just kept pushing myself to enjoy it more. So when I started seeing the things changing in my body, I thought that's when things, really started to take off.
Motivation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also found that it took a lot of stress away as well. That's good. It could be anything from having a bad day at work and then you go into the gym, you feel rubbish, and then when you've done your training session, you feel like a completely different person. So for me, it's a great stress reliever, and I've always found that with the gym, and also with the fact that you're getting rid of stress, you're also, you're getting good things out of it as well. Good motivation, you're building muscle, you're changing your body. So for me, it was my getaway from
all positive stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Get away from life and just walking, going to the gym with a moody face and coming back out with a happy face. So that's how I just found it. Cool. And
what actually got you into thinking about going to the gym?
I've got a 7-year-old son. Okay. Unfortunately, I haven't seen him for over 5 years.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so it was one of those where my confidence was shot to bits, and I thought to myself, what can I do to build my confidence up? So then I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to start training, build my confidence up, and sort of not sort of plaster over the things that were going on, but just sort of try and make a statement as it is, sort of say, you know what, this has happened, but something positive will come out of it. And that's for me was the main thing, trying to achieve a goal, just kind of not forgetting about everything that had happened, because it's always going to be there regardless. It's never going to change, what happens. Yeah. But I think for me it was a case of just helping me and building my self-esteem and my confidence, and that's what I did. So
good. Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, it's nice. Nice positive outcome there.
Yeah, definitely. It is,
something that could have sent you completely opposite way, couldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's. I'm always, like I say, I've always been a massive believer in obviously the men's mental health side of things. Yeah. I believe that nobody, male or female, you're never on your own, regardless of the situation, because a lot of people are too scared, especially males. We bottle things up. We do.
100%.
Because we're too scared of being judged and as seen as being weak.
Yes.
Because I've had comments said to me, oh, come on, Stuart, you're a massive guy. How can you let a woman do this to you? And it's sort of like, you're not really getting the whole point. It doesn't matter how big you are, what you look like. It's
we're all same in there.
Your mentality.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a massive, like I say, a massive believer of mental health, like I say, especially men's mental health, because it is something that is very close to myself. So absolutely. And you've obviously dealt with it really well. So. Yeah, in the best way that I can. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
So obviously this is your gym story, your gym journey. You were training for 8 years. When did you first start thinking about competing?
Probably the last 4 or 5 years. I started putting weight on rapidly. Really quickly. Yeah. I think at one point I was touching 20 stone at one point.
Wow.
And it was sort of like, at the time I thought I looked good, and I look back at the pictures like, Whoa, no, I didn't look good at all. Because my mates like used to take the mick out of me all the time. Like one of my friends, Luke, he called me Moonhead and said I'm big fat pie face and I'd be like that all the time. But do you know something? A lot of people would say to me, you know, Stu, you carry it so well, being 6'4", and you've got a really good shape to you. And it was kind of one of those where I sort of like thought I'd try it, but I just never got around to it.
Yeah.
And then as time's gone by, especially in the last couple of years, I was motivated more to do it.
Cool.
I have my reasons for that.
Yeah.
So I will go into it, but I'll explain that a little bit later.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's cool. No worries. So you've gone through your story there. We've talked about the training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So was there a trigger that got you thinking about I'm going to definitely do it this year?
Yes. In 2017, I was in a relationship with somebody, and at the time it was a very, very difficult relationship, to say the least. This is where I talk about the mental side of things. Unfortunately, my past preceded me. I was a doorman for a long time. Unfortunately, doormen don't have the best reputations. So I was judged on my past.
Yeah.
And people change. Because at the end of the day, you can't... For me, I'm a big believer you've got to be judged on now, with your actions now and what's to come. Yeah. Not from your past, because it's irrelevant. It's gone. There's nothing you can do about it.
Completely.
And I was in a relationship where everything was, at first, the honeymoon period is brilliant, and then things just started to change. Very controlling. Little thing going through my phone. I wasn't allowed on social media.
Right.
All sorts of things. Name calling. Wow. I've never ever felt so low in my life. But at the time in 2017, yes, I did start dieting, and I was getting prepped by Ryan Cartwright.
Okay.
And I'm 11 weeks into my prep. I unfortunately, with doing security, I ended up chasing somebody. I went over on my ankle. Oh no. Yeah, and I ended up with internal bleeding, back and front ligament damage. Wow. So to go from 11 weeks of dieting and with 5 weeks left, to say I was devastated, to say the least.
I bet you were.
It was really hard. But it was one of those where I kept saying to myself, you know what? I'm going to come back. I'm going to take a year out. Let my ankle fully recuperate. Get back to full fitness, and that's why I decided to come back.
And I guess a positive from that is you've taken off 11 weeks worth of body fat. You know?
Yeah, well, so when it comes to dieting, I sort of had an idea of what to expect anyway.
Yeah.
It was to see the changes from, and see what was underneath. Like, you know yourself, it's when you first do it, you're like, whoa, I didn't see that. Where's that come from? Where's that come from?
Yeah, and each week it gets more and more.
Yeah. It's like I say, I mean, it's like I've always sort of like looked at myself and thought, oh, I've always been that big chunky lad, who's off season, he just eats whatever he wants. Obviously now I know that's not the case. You need to have a good mix of your off season, because a lot of people, I think, will just...
Yeah, because all you've got to come off again, isn't it, when you come back on stage?
Exactly.
Right?
And you need to grow as well. And you're not going to just grow off junk food. Let's face it. True. So yeah, it was when I did split with my former partner. That's when I decided, you know what, this is it. I'm doing this for me. This is something I've always wanted to do, and regardless of what's happened, I'm not going to let that defeat me.
Good.
And I did go through a really bad time. I moved away. I moved to Leeds for the second time. And as strange as it sounds, when you're going through a period of when you're struggling, you realise then how much you miss your friends and your family. So I was very much on my own, so I kind of found it difficult. So I came back to Preston, and I thought, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. Whether or not, I'm just going to defeat the object, get on stage. I wasn't bothered where I placed. For me, it was just getting on stage, and that was the main thing.
You did it, and you won the first one there.
I know. I never, ever expected that.
And then, how did that feel?
It was, something? It was, when I got on stage, I wasn't nervous. I really wasn't nervous. Like, a lot of people would have had really bad nerves. But for me, it was kind of like, just to actually get on stage meant more.
Yeah. So
then, obviously, when they did call-outs, and then I announced that I was winner, I was like, I was like, whoa, I've just won Northwest. This is something I've been following for years.
Yeah.
And then it was nicer for me when Zane gave me the trophy. Zane from Ironman Gym. Because he'd seen me up in the run-up through my dieting, and also with John being there as well, it was a nice thing. Awesome. And since then, Zane's like give me quite a lot of advice just to sort of keep my head level-headed and, you know, keep my feet on the ground. So, like I say, when it comes to, and Zane knows what he's talking about. He's been around, you know, he's been there, done it. And Kelly as well. So when them two are telling me things and give me advice, I'm always willing to listen to anybody, and that's just the way I am because I have a lot of respect for people who have done it.
That's good.
So
that's good.
Absolutely.
You go treat it like a sponge and take advice from people.
Obviously, absolutely, yeah, definitely, yeah. Like I say, I think there's one of those where people will they win a first time bodybuilding show, and then they'll think that they're, you know, next probably going to win Olympia next. And for me, it's like, don't be wrong, to win the Northwest was something else. But I've always been a level-headed person, and I've always kept my feet on the ground. At the end of the day, the only person that I can beat is myself and come back better. That's all I can do.
And you've got a very good mentality for that. I like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very level-headed.
Yeah.
So, where are you training at the minute then, currently?
It's kind of a mixture at the minute because I'm at Ironman. Sometimes I'll go to Ironman a couple of times. Yeah. And then I'll train at Ultraflex, and then I'll train at Muscle Alley. So I'm very open-minded, even reps in Preston. Yeah. So I'm very open-minded as to where I train. If I get days off, I like to visit other gyms as well. Cool. Like last week I went to Cat's Gym in Wigan for the first time. Yeah. Very interesting. Very, very old school, but again, the old school gyms, I love them. I absolutely love them.
Got good atmospheres, right?
Yeah, it's nice because you can sort of like, when you go into, with no disrespect to commercial gyms, or when you go to like Total Fitness or JD, people just look at you like, well, this guy here, look at him. And you're
what's
like,
he doing here?
What's he doing in here? And it's like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then when you train, you get people come up to you, how do you do this, how do you do that? I'm like, I'm not a personal trainer. It's like, I know my stuff, like what I know, but it's like, you've got a personal trainer in your gym. You pay to ask these sort of questions. And like I say, when you go into a bodybuilding gym, people don't really care. You just leave you to it, and that's what I enjoy, you know.
And they're on the same mindset as you and stuff like that, aren't they?
Yeah. Like I say, it's not all commercial gyms are the same. I'm not saying that, but a lot of the times it's sort of like, you know yourself, when you're kind of in it, the zone, you just want to kind of be left alone. Yeah. So there's nothing worse when you're mid-set doing something and somebody starts tapping you in the shoulder. Excuse me, how do you do this? And you're just like, are you really? I'm trying to...
I see many a person kick off, say, leave me alone, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So going into the gym then, okay, do you have like a specific training routine you follow?
I try and mix it up a little bit. So, like, it used to be a case, like one of the cases where, when I was younger, I used to, believe it or not, my arms was one of my weak points.
Okay, well, good now, aren't they?
And, well, it was actually James Fleming who approached me, and I said to James, so what do I need to build on? And James went, you need bigger arms. So he said, train back and biceps. So at the time, I didn't know. So that's what I started to do. And just that little bit of advice from a professional bodybuilder, obviously I'm going to listen, because that's what I do, is you say you're a sponge. So when you've got these guys that you look at and you think, wow, and everywhere you're looking you think, how do I look like that? Any little bit of advice you just take on. So my set days, I'll say, like, for example, do back and biceps, and then maybe chuck in some calves, or, you know, another day I'll chuck in quads, and just sort of separate it a little bit with the legs, and then I'll switch it up and say do chest and triceps, and on a Wednesday, on a Tuesday I may do shoulders, and I just like to switch it up a little bit as well. So yeah, I just think, you know, that's the way to be.
Yeah. Do you cover most things in a week then?
Yeah. I train like, I'll train Monday to Friday, and if I've got a spare day, I'll just pretty much do what I want, really. So if I say for example, it comes to a Saturday, I might do some, you know, do some quads, or I might do my arms, just anything really on a spare day. But I've always got a specific, you know, routine, because I do believe you switch it up, because I think if you train the same things every day, it gets not repetitive, but you just kind of, you're not challenging yourself.
No, it keeps your mind occupied, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you're just doing the same thing all the time. And I think a lot of people they they get lazy with it because they just sort of like do their own training thing and they'll have the set days, what they'll do, the set things. And I think if you switch it up, it's a challenge for yourself. So I like switching up.
And a lot of people who go out and get a bit bored in the gym generally get bored because they don't switch it up.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, you've got the right philosophy there.
Yeah, well, it's, like I say, I mean, it's like a lot of people just do their own set routine and they don't change. So you'll see somebody who will, like, from seeing the videos and pictures I have over the years of some, because obviously I like watching the bodybuilding stuff, and then you'll see me a year later and you think, you look the same as last year. So, and then I think if you change it up a little bit, anything, just a slight change could make the massive difference, you know?
You're bound to adapt, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Did you train anything different for your the show when you were competing, for your contest prep?
It was, obviously, I started doing the cardio. Well, I always did cardio anyway because I played rugby as well, rugby union, so I was always doing my cardio as sorts, but nowhere near as intense as to when I started dieting. I was still doing the same weights, but obviously as you get closer, as you know yourself, you get closer to the show, you can't quite, you can't lift because you just physically don't have the energy to.
You get tired, don't you?
Yeah. So it was sort of like, as you get closer to the show date, you sort of like your repetitions, your weights are lower. So what I try to do is just do more repetitions with a lower weight, just to sort of make sure I still got that burn.
Get a pump in
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's very, very normal stuff. Yeah. Because you literally half your weight, don't you?
You know yourself. When you're so tired, just even getting out of bed, your whole body hurts. But yeah, it's like I said, the end product is the hard work and the way what you do it for. Yeah. So that's pretty much why.
Fantastic. So we talked about that. Diet-wise, okay. In a general, forgetting contest diet, what do you normally look at when you come to your diet? Do you have like a set thing you do for when you're like bulking up, putting muscle on?
To be quite honest, I was always beforehand, before I started doing my proper dieting.
Yeah.
My diet, I'll admit, wasn't great.
Okay.
I'll hold my hand up to that. It was sort of like I would mix it up a little bit, and then I started buying bulk powders and trying to put all the mass on and everything else.
Yeah.
And then I realised that you can't just rely on powder all the time. You've got to sort of have the right balance. Like obviously you can have your cheat meals, but then you've sort of got to mix it up a little bit. So. A lot of people, I think, off season, they'll just go, and all of a sudden, I mean, since I did the Brits, that's literally all I've done so far. And like I say, for me, it's a learning curve because obviously with how I've been feeling recently, especially with the water retention, it's like, whoa.
How much weight have you put on since the Brits? I
have absolutely no idea. I've not actually weighed myself.
Okay. Do you feel heavier though? It wouldn't surprise me. I've seen people put 2 or 3 stone on in a couple of weeks after.
Well, I said that. I'm guessing 2 stone. No, you won't put 2 stone. I better have.
Oh, it can happen.
I better have.
Yeah, I remember poking half my finger through my ankle with that much water retention on it, you know.
Well, yeah, it's like I say, I mean, I literally a couple of days ago, I was at my mum's house and I said, right, I'm going home now. And literally, as I was walking home, my left calf started hurting. I thought, I knew straight away what it was. And my calf was like, rock hard. And my arms were hurting and I was like, this does not feel good.
No, yeah.
So I was like struggling to walk as well.
Yeah.
Which was a lesson learned for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, Kelly Ainscough said to me, she's like, to be fair, I've had a bit of one of them off, in a way. She did say to me, when you've done your show, don't go mad with your carbs. And obviously when you're in that mindset where you're dieting for 16 weeks, it's really hard not to. So obviously now for the future, I'll know now.
Yeah, so learning curve and you learn.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Take it easy.
It's hard, man. I've been there myself. All you want to do, once you have the first taste of something, you just want to nail everything in the world. But I've had that telling off as well. And you sort of have to go back on your diet.
Yes.
in a way, don't you, to get rid of it? Yeah.
Yes, definitely. But it's like I say, you just don't go, I'll know now. Next time, don't go
there you
crazy.
go. It's another learning curve.
Slowly work yourself into it, yeah, definitely.
So we talked a bit about your diet before.
Yeah.
Okay. What changed in your contest prep? What sort of things did you change up?
It was sort of like my coach Nick Bond. He sort of like every few days, especially closer to the show date, he would check in on me, want pictures. He'd come and make sure I come into the gym, do my posing with me. He'd have a look at me. He would then decide what carbs to put in, what meals. Like I say, the meals getting smaller as well, which was bad enough in itself because I didn't feel like I was eating anything. And it was really strange. It doesn't help the fact that I work in a supermarket. That really didn't help. So I ended up having really bad cravings. So I ended up having like sugar-free chewing gum.
Yeah.
And I just kept having sugar-free chewing gum all the time to stop myself.
Just going through it.
And now I don't have chewing gum. I'm sick. I don't even have to see chewing gum again in my life. But I was having that much chewing gum. I was like, I think all my wages just seem to go on chewing gum. And literally, like, the meals got smaller, and it was like little things were taken out, so the meals got smaller. They took out the bagel with jam on, and I was like, oh.
I bet you looked forward to that, didn't you?
Well, then it turned out to be the porridge I ended up looking forward to. I mean, porridge of all things. And then sweet potato. You know, it's all the things you don't really think about before.
Oh, and that's sweet when you're dieting down.
Yes.
Wow. You know, that's like sugar, isn't it, when you're dieting down?
Well, yeah. It's very strange how it works, especially the dieting. There's things that before you wouldn't even, you just think, well, sweet potato, whatever. But then when you're dieting, you're just like, oh, sweet potato tastes amazing. You fall asleep thinking I want it to be morning because I want my porridge.
Oh yeah.
It's so strange the way it works, especially the mentality of it. But
your taste buds change, don't they? It's quite fun.
Completely.
Yeah.
And also I was going to say the other thing as well is you don't realise until it's a massive eye opener because you then start picking up what everyone else eats, and I'm just thinking. I'm looking around and everyone's like, I'll just have a bag of crisps and a big bar of chocolate and I'll have this, that and the other. And I'm thinking, and I was walking around and I remember seeing the front of a newspaper and it was on about this country and the way we eat.
Yeah.
And then I'm just thought, well, yeah, I've just seen most of that in from what I can see. It's very strange, obviously, the way it works, and you start picking up on what people eat. And before, you didn't care what people ate; you just ate your own thing. Yeah. And then when you're dieting, you start. I don't know yourself, but I started picking up on what everyone was eating, and I just thought, no one seems to care.
Well, I think, it's in education in a way, because a lot of these people are going to get illnesses early. Yeah. The diabetes, the heart diseases and stuff, and they don't realise it. But when you actually eat really clean for a long time, like you've just done, our body's like the healthiest it's ever been.
Yeah.
And if you get your blood works done now, you'll be perfect. I bet you any money. And
that might be an idea then.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, because I bet you any money, every function your body will be spotted now because you've eaten so clean. And people who are the same age as you, who eat poorly, their actual sort of age of the body is probably 10, 20 years older.
Well, it's like I say. I mean, it's like when you go on social media, you look at people who go, "Oh, I'm never drinking again." I could have sworn you said that last weekend. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I'm never drinking again. I mean, I've never been a big drinker anyway. I never have been. It's not something that I think of. It's let's go out and get, start drinking alcohol. But then, the people who are, spending, we'll just get a takeaway and, we'll go out every weekend. And it's like, it's not the life that I want.
It's a big culture, but it's very British as well, I think.
Yeah.
But, you choose it or you don't choose it.
Exactly. Right? Each to their own.
And, I guess we've chosen the health route, right?
Well, I've chosen to do what I like, so...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, going back to your show.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to prep? How long was your prep?
I started prepping on the 10th of February.
Okay.
At first, it wasn't too bad, but, I mean, as you get closer to the show date, I kept saying to myself, I want it to be Saturday, I want it to be done. I just want to get on stage now, And it's sort of like, you're almost begging for it to be the show date because you just want to get it done. Because It's there's a lot of. It's very strange when you're dieting. You sort of like your mind starts almost playing tricks on you. And it's you know, it's waking up and 8-9 times a night with all the fluids you need to drink, and
that's it. Did you used to wake up early as well?
Yes. Yes.
You can't sleep, but you like wake up and you're like ready to go.
I mean, I look back now and I'm thinking to myself, how did I manage to get through the full day? Because I was working till 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, wow.
And that's my hours. So I was, you know, functioning on maybe 4 hours sleep, doing cardio, well, doing my weights and doing cardio, and then having obviously my set meals through the day. And when I look back at it now, I think to myself, how did I do that? You know, and obviously drinking all the fluids as well. But I think it's just one of them. You've got to be so, you know yourself, you've got to be so mentally strong-minded to be able to do it.
Especially working at a supermarket, bloody hell.
Yeah, well,
wow.
I think
that's impressive.
Yeah, well, I think that didn't really bother me so much. I think it was from what I'd been through before.
Yeah.
And I think this time I went into it with a clear mind, and that was the difference. And I also on my own as well.
Yeah.
I stayed single, and I know that sounds strange, but.
Well, no, you've got any pressures, have you, of you know, people saying, oh, go and have this, or what are you doing that for? You know, it's a very stable environment, isn't it?
Yes, yes, definitely. Like I say, it is, and I also didn't want distractions neither. Yeah. Because people would like I say, my family would be like, oh, Stuart, you're really grumpy, you're really narky, and I'm like, yeah, but you don't really understand it. It's just one of those things, you're dieting.
You've got to get through it yourself to understand it.
Yeah, really. Yeah. And I said 95% of people, they won't be able to do it. No. Not a chance, you won't be able to do it. I believe 90% will not be able to do a bodybuilding diet. I don't think so.
It's a tough.
My opinion.
No, I very much agree. I mean, I've seen this over many years, like, and you know, I could say this probably a few times before. It's literally the hardest thing you'll put yourself through in your life. You know.
Yeah, I mean, look how many people who probably tried it and then they've maybe got halfway and said, I can't do it.
Yeah, I know people a week out have stopped. You know, believe it or not. Yeah. Crazy. You know, madness. Right then. Here's one for you.
Yep.
How much did you weigh on stage? Because you're quite tall.
Oh, gosh.
You're 6'4", aren't you?
Well, the Brits and the Northwest are both.
We'll go Northwest.
Northwest. Dropped down to, the day before, dropped down to 15-12.
Okay. And you started at, what did you start at again?
18-7.
Wow. Okay.
So, I really would like to, I really, really would like to say, I'm going to kind of guess maybe 16-1, 16-2, but I honestly can't say.
Yeah.
Obviously, you saw me at the Northwest.
It is, yeah.
Like I say, I can only guess what I weighed, but I have no idea. So absolutely no idea.
15-12, like before you sort of put some carbs in and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's a big weight. It's a good weight. And again, you were definitely the biggest in your class there. Yeah. 100%.
Well, I remember because it was. I remember we was getting. We was in the background we were getting tanned up, and two of the other lads, who were doing the first timers as well. They went, "Oh, what show you doing?" I went, "First timers," and they both looked at each other and went, "Oh." I was like, well, I said to him, "Oh, we've all got to start somewhere."
What upset you?
And I'm like, "Oh, crap!" And then when I got in the, and then I got to the tanning booth, and I'm in the tanning booth, and then all of a sudden I look up and Si Drake walks past me, and I'm just like, "Yeah." I thought, I'm glad I'm not doing class one. You know,
he carries some muscle, that man.
Yeah, really nice guy though as well. Really nice guy. I spoke to him quite a lot as well, which was nice. Good. Yeah. So
you looked really well that day. You did. So I've already talked to you about the prepping. You got a bit of help, didn't you? Yeah. Wherever you're prepping. And we'll probably touch this again, but I'll ask you again. How did you cope with your diet? Did you suffer any?
To be honest with you, I wasn't too bad. There was times when I had my head dropped off a little bit at times. It did go a little times. I mean, fortunately, I had a good, very good prep coach. Yeah. And any time that I needed some advice, I'd call him. Yeah. And he's sort of like, "Stuart, get your shit together. Sort your head out. Stop being a wuss." In sense. Yeah. But you know yourself, the mind can play tricks, definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. Yeah.
You need that support there just to get your level again.
It was, but the people that were, even Mike Sullivan, again, I rang Mike a few times. Mike was great. Mike was brilliant. And there was a time I went round to his house and he's like, right, how are you getting on? Well, okay. And he's talking, I'm like, and he's talking to me and I'm looking at my phone, he's like, it's a girl, isn't it? And I was like, yeah. He went, right, so I'm going to tell you now, switch your phone off, ignore her, he said, and concentrate. So all of a sudden I switched my phone off and I concentrated, did what Mike said, he's like, see the difference? You've switched off. You've gone into tunnel vision, you've gone from there to there.
That's it.
And that's what you've done.
Right then, so you got quite a lot of advice there, didn't you, in the run up to that?
Yeah.
So would you change anything in the run up to your next show you're planning?
Yeah, I'd have a better off season. Okay. Absolutely. I won't be eating Domino's as much as I did. I like my Domino's pizzas, unfortunately.
Don't we all?
Yeah. But also at the same time, I now believe that off season dieting is as important as
brilliant.
Obviously, come up to your dieting for the show.
That's a good point. You've got to make that clear to everyone out there.
Yeah, it's one of the things I've now learned. It's the first time, and obviously the next time I do it, I'll be coming into novice. So a lot of guys who are the experienced bodybuilders have now said, right, Stu, you know what to expect. Don't go mad in your off seasons. You need to switch it up. Have a good off season because it's as important as it is for your show dieting. Which is obviously something I've now learned. Whereas beforehand, I didn't care what I ate, and now it's sort of like it's a totally different scenario.
Yeah. You'll see a big difference, you know. You will, you will see a massive difference.
Yeah.
You'll come in harder because of that. You won't have as much weight to shift. So, that is some very sound advice, that.
Like I say, I mean, some of the feedback's been good as well from the Northwest and the Brits. And a lot of the feedback has been the same feedback as well. Okay. A lot of people have said the same things, just to come back leaner and bigger, basically. That's all I can do. Yeah. So it's good to get good feedback because I'm one of these people that some people may take it the wrong way. For me, I call it constructive criticism, where I can take it and then I'll take it on board and build on it. Yeah. So I believe that's the best way to be.
It's a good mindset, boss.
Yeah, definitely. For me, it is. That's just the way I work, though. So
good. Yeah, there's no doubt you will come back. You've got a very strong mind.
Definitely coming back. Yeah.
So we've got one here. The plans for the future. So we've already talked about it. Then, so you're planning on novices, right?
Yes.
Next year.
Yes, absolutely.
The Northwest.
Yes, I'll be in the Northwest.
I'll see you there.
Absolutely, I'll be in the Northwest.
I'll be seeing you there.
Yes.
I look forward to that. So a good off season, and you'll probably start dieting roughly the same sort of time, won't you?
Yeah.
Cool, love it. So I've heard you talked to me before where you've got a friend of yours, Stuart Garrington's going to help you out.
Yeah, I lived in Leeds for a couple of years, and it was. Stu's always somebody that I looked up to because he was such a tall guy and he was beating guys as well who were, the sort of like, I wouldn't say the shorter guys, but the fact that you've got this 6 foot plus guy and he's ended up getting a pro card, his universe and everything else. So he's very much somebody that I looked up to, and I've told him this as well. But also, when I lived in Leeds, you've got some great bodybuilders over there. I mean, I've come good friends with Sam Watt. Yeah. He's Sam Watt. If you don't know Sam Watt, look for him. He's phenomenal. Yeah, he's good. Absolutely phenomenal. Carl Stannard, who is best friends with Stu, so I've learned a lot from Carl. And I remember going to Ebo Gym in York, and I went to see Carl, and it's quite strange because I think I was weighing roughly about 19 stone, and Carl was getting ready to do a show, and I sort of like, right, let's have a strip. I took off, and I went, Carl, I said, you look twice the size of me, and I'm 2 stone heavier. And that's when I realised that I was like, hang on a minute, it's just it's sort of like an illusion. So it's very much an illusion. So you can get a guy who's 19 stone, but then you can get a guy who's getting ready to a competition at 16 and a half like Carl was. And Carl looked twice the size of me. And I was like, Carl. Yeah, and that's when I realised, I knew that in myself, thought, right, this needs to change.
Yeah, you never sort of rely on weight.
No, well, that was my problem. I used to chase the scales all the time, and I thought the heavier I got, the better. Mm. And then I realised that it needs to come off. Yeah. So you've got to work harder for it. So my advice is to anybody off season is don't chase the scales. Don't chase the scales, because if you start chasing the scales, the more fat the more you're gonna take off, and it's gonna be harder for yourself as well. And this is something I've learned now.
That's some good sound advice, guys. So take that on board.
Yeah,
really,
absolutely.
Really useful advice.
Yeah.
So that's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I put here, have you changed anything already? But you've already said to me, you've that's the learn the off season, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like I say, since I've done the shows, I've had a couple of people sort of like message me. I've had for feedback for stuff like that. And like I say, any sort of feedback that is given to me, whether it be constructive criticism or anything else, I'll always listen, because when you've got the guys who have been on stage and who've done it for such a certain time, long period, I've so much respect for those people. Like Paul Rowe was a massive influence throughout my dieting, helping me out. You had others that were helping me. Like I say, Nick Bond was great. I mean, Nick I was finishing work at 11 o'clock at night, and Nick was coming to my house, driving to my house to see how I was getting on.
Wow. That's
impressive. How many coaches do that? I don't know.
No, not many.
He did. And the fact is, the night before, he'd come and see me. He's like, right, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to change things. And like I say, he'd actually drive to my house.
Wow.
And he was actually doing cardio as well, where it must have took him over an hour. He walked to mine over an hour and walked back again to his house, because he was trying to get ready for the PCA. And the fact is, he drove me to Southport. He got my tan ready, he put a glaze on me. I couldn't ask for more.
You
really.
couldn't ask for more. That's a coach. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Right then. So I'm coming up to me near the last question here for you.
Yeah.
Is there any advice you'll give anyone out there who's thinking about doing a bodybuilding show?
The best advice I can say is don't always listen to what everyone else says. Listen to your coach. Mm-hmm. Because there's one thing I've learned is when you get closer to a show date, everybody's an expert.
Yeah.
Stu, you need to do this. Stu, you need to do that. Listen to your coach.
Yeah.
Listen to that one person, but also have the belief as well that no matter what happens, if you get on stage, regardless of where you finish, you've won anyway.
Of course you have.
You've won anyway. Yeah. It doesn't matter. If at the end of the day, judges are there to do what they need to do. I mean, like I said, I never in a million years thought I was going to win the Northwest. Not in a million years. And, it was very late, obviously, as you know, it was very tiring.
It was a long day.
And then to get an invite to the British finals, I mean, I had my little, yes, after the British finals, I had my little, my little head drop and everything else. And it was good because it's sort of like people rallied around me. So like the guys who have been there for a long time. So Carl Stannard messaged me saying, mate, you've done absolutely amazing. It's your first year. Yeah. You've won the Northwest. You qualified for the British finals. He said it took him 7 years to get to a British finals.
There you go.
So for me, when you get somebody like him telling me that, and obviously he's just done the Worlds as well, it's a massive plus.
Of course.
And it's nice to get feedback off people as well. People saying to me, I've got a lot of potential, which is a nice thing. I've got a good balance, things like that. Because it's funny, when it comes to my training, it's like with my legs as well. I always wear pants. Nobody really sees my legs. I always hide them away. I don't know why I do that. So I like to try the element of surprise kind of thing. But obviously when I got on stage, and obviously you saw me on stage, and when I look back at the pictures, and I was shocked. I was like, I didn't expect me to look like that.
You look really well.
You don't know when you're getting off the fat and stuff like that. You don't know what's underneath. And obviously when I look back at the pictures and the videos, I was like, wow, I really, you don't see it.
No.
But like I say, when it comes to advice, just have the belief in yourself. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. It doesn't matter if people try and put negative thoughts, just do it for you.
Yes.
And that's the best thing I can say. And listen to that one person. Don't listen to anybody else.
That's some sound advice, that.
Yeah, that is honestly the best thing I say. People started trying to give me advice, and I literally had to say, listen, stop. I've got a coach. That's it.
I think that's the best thing you can do. Always, always
absolutely.
Because there's multiple ways of doing things, but if you try bits of everything, it can go wrong.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, it's not only that as well. I mean, when you're close to show day and you're dieting, your head's already in. It's like a pinball machine.
Yeah.
So when like I say, when you've got other people who are trying to say, well, actually, I think you need to do this, you need to do that. Just listen to that one person, and that's all that matters.
Super.
Absolutely.
Super. Well, Stu, you have given a lot of people some sound advice there. Guys, I mean, if you're thinking about doing a show in the future, I hope you've got lots and lots of information there. Okay? There is loads of advice, and again, Stuart's proof that you can do it, and you've done it very well.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And you've got a very good future ahead of you, Stu.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Right, guys, we'll see you again next time.